Datuk Sri Azalina Othman Said, Minister in the Prime Minister's Department. Datuk Sri Muhammad Hishamuddin Muhammad Yunus, Chair, Human Rights Commission of Malaysia, SUHAKAM. Ms. Karima L. Khoury, UN Resident Coordinator for Malaysia, Singapore and Brunei Darussalam. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for inviting me to say a few words today. I'm very sorry I'm unable to join the celebrations as I'm away for AICHR work. As we celebrate Human Rights Day globally on this very date, we must not forget our shared responsibility to uphold the dignity and rights of every individual. Today is not just a celebration of progress, but also a moment to reflect on the challenges facing us in building a fair, just, equitable, and human rights-based society. The theme for this forum, Empowering Our Rights, Securing Our Future, Business Responsibility for People and Nation, aligns with Malaysia's ASEAN Chairmanship theme for 2025, Inclusivity and Sustainability. The theme is not a vision, it is a call to action. Inclusivity demands that we leave no one behind. The voices of those who have been made vulnerable and marginalized must be heard. These groups include women, children, persons with disabilities, indigenous peoples, Orang Asli, Orang Asal, and migrant workers. They often face neglect and disproportionate impacts from business operations. Sustainability requires us to respect and protect human rights, while ensuring that any development meets present needs without compromising the dignity and rights of future generations. Inclusivity and sustainability principles reaffirm our commitment to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and align with ASEAN's long-term vision of fostering a people-oriented and people-centered community. As we move towards adopting the ASEAN Community Vision 2045 that will set ASEAN's direction in the next 20 years, what does inclusivity and sustainability mean for the people? In human rights terms, one way of articulating Malaysia's thematic focus is through the right to development in Article 35 of the ASEAN Human Rights Declaration. There are three parts to this provision. First, the right to development is an inalienable human right where the peoples of ASEAN are entitled to participate in, contribute to, enjoy and benefit equitably and sustainably from economic, social, cultural and political development. Second, the right to development should be fulfilled so as to meet equitably the developmental and environmental needs of present and future generations. Third, while development facilitates and is necessary for the enjoyment of all human rights, the lack of development may not be invoked to justify the violations of human rights. Further, Article 36 calls on ASEAN governments to adopt meaningful, people-oriented, and gender-responsive development programs aimed at poverty alleviation and the creation of conditions, including the protection and sustainability of the environment for the peoples of ASEAN to enjoy all human rights. Adopting an economic development lens, the Malaysian government, corporate Malaysia, and civil society must lead ASEAN to achieve growth that is inclusive and development that is sustainable. On this journey, human rights should feature in front and at center. Despite the thriving economic dynamism in the region, we continue to see human rights challenges. Labor rights violations, discriminatory practices, community displacement, indigenous rights abuses, environmental degradation. Economic progress must not come at the expense of fundamental human rights. We also see how climate change is impacting us today. Yet, it is disheartening to hear businesses being unable or unwilling to adopt a more proactive stand to mitigate adverse human and environmental rights impacts in their operations. Many are resisting robust measures to tackle the problems they are causing. Worse, many fear accountability and will only act when they are named and shamed. Worst, there are businesses that will use our judicial system to file strategic litigation against public participation, also known as SLAPP cases, to silence dissent. On this Human Rights Day, we must reaffirm our commitment to the values of human rights and fundamental freedoms. We must stand on the side of human rights survivors and victims. We must stand with human rights defenders who have come before us and those still with us, who have sacrificed so much to fight and stand up against human rights abusers and violators. I envision a future where every person in Southeast Asia lives in an environment that will respect and protect human rights, consistent with the rule of law and democratic principles. I envision an ASEAN community that's fair, just, equitable, inclusive, and sustainable. Let us harness the power of collaboration and solidarity to create a society where growth can be inclusive, development can be sustainable, and human rights will protect us all from harm. Happy Human Rights Day. Thank you.